Hey guys, welcome to Nate and Greg's World. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about some pretty messed up things going on with the whole COVID, the regulations that are going on, the different restrictions, and different information that we're getting back and forth from a whole bunch of different things. Nate's got some interesting stuff going on, which is why I'm in my office and he's back at the studio right now. So stay tuned. We'll be talking to you soon about COVID.
Got no balls to pick with you.
Hey guys, so as mentioned, we're in our own separate buildings right now because apparently something's going on with COVID over at Nate's house. All kinds of messed up, and well, he's got the studio in his house, but things are messed up. Make sure you hit that subscribe and bell icon and throw down some comments. Let us know what's going on with you with COVID and all the restrictions and stuff that's happening. And tell us as well as how crappy it is to actually be separate and doing this via Zoom. This is the whole situation. This is what we got to deal with. So sorry about that. Also, don't forget to check us out on all our other platforms there. And hey, don't forget, check us out on what's that other thing that we're on right now? I do all the stuff. It's for like 13-year-olds and shit.
The TikTok.
There we go.
That dance thing.
Yeah, I don't do much dancing or anything like that, but check us out on TikTok. We're having some fun doing that, gaining lots of followers. And guess what, folks? We actually have some Nate and Greg World stickers as well. We'll let you know down in the comments or down in the description below of how you can get yourself some stickers if you're wanting to get some stickers for Nate and Greg's World. But moving on, we're going to be talking about some of the misinformation that is going on about COVID. And it's not necessarily, your friend going and telling you one thing and another friend telling you another thing. This is from professionals that we're getting misinformation. So, Nate, you want to tell us what's going on with you and what's all happening?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say as a disclaimer, the studio is in my house. So before people want to think he could have COVID and he's out at the studio, no, it's in my basement. So I am at home. We had interaction with a COVID positive person last week. We do have COVID possibly in our house, but we can't get tested because, well, we'll get into that more because it's very confusing. But I have gotten some answers from people.
That's good.
So I got to take these off. Can I still hear you?
I don't know. I don't think you can hear me.
There we go. That's just, I don't know.
You like hearing yourself, don't you?
I do. Yes. Yes. Make sure I'm talking.
The fun of trying to do a podcast over Zoom.
This sucks, dude.
Yes.
Do you remember we did this back the first shutdown?
Yes.
I think we did one episode at separate places.
Yeah, we did a couple of them.
Was it a couple of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, well, the one where we had a bunch of people on all at the same time. We were trying to do everybody on separate Zooms.
Yeah, that was horrible. But hey, at least we finally
awful.
figured out the mics now.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we don't sound like we're talking into a tin can.
Yeah, hopefully. But no, it's been a bit of a crazy week. So we've been in isolation now. I think we've got, well, it depends on who you talk to. Again, which organization or health officials. Sometime between Friday and Sunday, we are done with our self-isolation. Basically what had happened, without giving names, because I don't really want to get anybody involved in this or maybe potentially in trouble. But somebody that we know that's close to the family became in contact at work with a COVID positive person, another coworker, which spread it onto another person who lives in this house part-time. And they came back for 24 hours. And that's when we got the call that that person had been in contact directly with COVID. So they have tested positive for COVID. And again, depending on who you talk to, will tell you that, yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed you have COVID, to no, not likely, you would be considered low risk with the situation because of the gestation, whatever period of the virus, like how long it takes to, become, get to the point where people can catch it from you, right? So it's been all kinds of messed up this week for sure. The last almost, well, week and a half soon.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier, like when we were talking about this, that because you have been in contact and stuff like this, they're automatically assuming that you guys do have it, but they won't actually test you for it to prove that yes, you do or no, you don't.
Right. So while they're not, again, depending on who you talk to, like we've talked to a few people, and I gotta say up front, okay, the frontline workers at these health places have been amazing. Okay, like they've been really nice to talk to. I've asked them a ton of questions that they've answered, and I know they're really, really busy. So, in fact, we talked to somebody from the health unit in our town uh, Friday, and she spent about a half an hour on the phone with us after her work. So she wasn't even at work, but she was trying to like answer all of our questions. Anyways, so again, depending on, they have a hard time. So this how it was explained. So like most people, I get confused why, if you have been in contact with somebody with COVID, or sometimes even when you show symptoms, they will not test you. And quite often people think, or I thought anyways, and it kind of annoyed me, well, why don't they test you? Is it because they have lack of tests? Because they don't care? Like, what's the reasoning? So what was explained to me, which made sense after, was the reason is because of the way the virus grows and shows up, the antibodies in your blood can be anywhere from usually 3 days to 10 days. So what was happening in the beginning is when they started testing everybody, people would go in, say, I've been in contact with COVID, somebody with COVID, can I get tested? They would do the swab, it would come back negative. So they'd be like, oh, your test is negative. So then that person would be like, oh, and they would tell that person, you came back negative, but there's a chance that you still have it. Stay home, self-isolate, blah, blah, blah. But people psychologically, the second they hear you're negative, say, well, screw that. I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, I don't have it. Like, I'm negative,
Yeah.
whatever. Right. So it became an issue where these people that tested negative were actually did have it. It just wasn't to the point it was in their antibody. Like, they couldn't get it through blood testing.
Yeah, it just didn't produce itself enough.
Right. It had the
Yeah.
gestational period or what
Yeah.
period or whatever. So they're saying like all these people were like leaving their homes because they're like, well, and then they were infecting everybody.
Right.
Right. So because by the time they leave their home 7 days in or whatever, suddenly they, they are, they can pass it on. Right. They are infectious. So that's kind of what the one lady from the place explained to me. And I get it. I get it because I think psychologically, well, us as people really work psychologically. So when you hear you're negative, you're fine for the test, you just automatically assume everything's good, and they're just being overly like that.
Yeah, the
crazy,
overprotective,
the crazy
like,
parent.
well,
like,
you might not have it, but you better stay home anyways.
Right. So now you get what they call a self-monitoring stay-at-home order.
Yes.
Right. So, but then somebody else said that somebody else in my family and one of my older children who work at a store, I'm not going to names, but works at a large box store that's still open, that she could go back to work.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody else in the house has to stay locked down.
Right. Like,
and that's the part that confuses the shit out of me right now.
It confuses me too, because if I say you came here to do this today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it went up and somebody called and they did their fucking thing and then found out that you were in the same room as me and I was under this stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
I would get a massive fine.
Yeah.
But yet my daughter, okay, my oldest daughter, she's being told, no, it's okay. Just, you're fine. Go back to work.
Yeah.
Like,
go to work.
Use your regular protective gear and blah, blah, blah. The chances are. So again, like it's kind of confusing because it depends on who you talk to. And again, I'm not downing this. Like they were all fantastic people to talk to. They were very helpful. It's just some of the information they're passing along is confusing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
No, and like, and that's the thing. There's the different restrictions that are going on. And then you have the essential stuff, right? The stuff that's essential that you are allowed to go buy, and then the stuff that you can't buy. And it's like, who's making up the rules, for what's essential and what's not essential? Like you and I took a walk through before you got shut down. Let's be clear on that. We took a walk through one of the big stores, and here it was. They had baby toys were all right. You could go buy baby toys, but you
mhm.
can't buy baby clothes. Well,
Right,
I'm
they had the
sorry, but
clothes shut down.
I don't know about you, but I know when my kids were small, every grocery trip we had to go and buy new clothes because they had already grown that much.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Well, no, and it doesn't make sense. Or why is the seasonal open?
yeah, seasonal's open.
Why are
You
they
get
saying
pool
that
stuff, you get patio stuff to hang out in your yard.
an umbrella, like an
Yeah,
umbrella is essential,
yeah,
right? Like, yeah, exactly. And if umbrellas are considered essential, I can't even say the word now. I've said it so many
essential.
times. If that's considered to be essential at Walmart, so they
Yeah,
can open it up for people to buy, why is that not considered if a mom and pop shop is selling that,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Or if they're selling toys at a small shop, why is that not considered essential there? And they can stay open. Like this is again, I think it's hard to say, but in the future, I mean, obviously, hindsight, we're always going to look back at stuff and go, wow, that was really bad. That was dumb. That was stupid. We should have done
Yes,
it differently, whatever. Right. And hopefully, at the end of this, we all learn from this in
yeah,
like future. But yeah, I don't understand again why he backed off. I mean, Doug Ford, to me, this is the thing. I mean, you can yell and scream at the guy, but there's no way for him to
no,
win. I
no,
mean,
absolutely not.
he goes one way, he pisses 50% of the people off. He goes the other way, he pisses the other 50% off. Like
Yeah,
there's no way the guy can win. He's getting a ton of information from a ton of different people. They're all telling him different things. Like I'm thinking
yep,
we called 3 health organizations and got confused over the
yeah,
information we were given. This guy's getting it from everywhere,
absolutely,
right? So
absolutely.
of course he's not a medical guy. He's just trying to
No,
do his best, right?
yeah.
So
And well, like the thing is too, like with this latest lockdown that they've had, he got his information from, like a bunch of people, but in particular the health minister, right? Because the health minister is the be all end all, right?
mhm,
So the health minister says, look, dude, you need to be doing this. Well, he's supposed to rely on that information.
mhm.
So, but that's one person. So this health official goes and says, yep, this is what needs to happen. He's like, well, fuck, this person says so. Okay, then let's do it. And then
Well,
all of a
look
sudden
how
you
far he
have a
has to
whole
go
bunch of,
on.
yeah, he has a whole bunch of other health officials saying, no, stop the lockdowns. Mental health right now is far worse than the whole COVID thing. You have more people dying because of mental health issues, because of COVID, than you do of actual COVID. So
Well,
then that's
yeah.
why he's like, well, fuck, okay, well then let's reverse it then. So
Well, that's why you get the decision that he has like keep small playgrounds open for snotty nosed kids to climb on.
yeah, but don't go
Shut
golfing.
down the parks,
Yeah,
right? These massive parks where everybody can easily stay like 660 feet apart if that was the
yeah,
case, right? And not be anywhere near each other. But we're gonna keep the tight little playgrounds. And that's why that happens because he's got, like I say, he's got so many people screaming at him,
yeah,
yelling this and yelling that. And you heard that this week he actually was locked up, like he went into isolation himself.
yeah,
Me and
yeah,
Doug are going through the vid together here,
yeah.
right? I feel like I'm part of the family, really.
I'd still come over and lick you, dude.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing because, like, me and you have gone back and forth on this. I know, like,
Oh,
and I'll admit, when it first came out, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
when it first started coming here, when we
yes,
first started hearing about COVID and this and that, and I remember us doing a lot of laughing and rolling our eyes over it. And,
yeah,
you know, you, and I know we've talked a lot about the numbers. Are they real? Are they bullshit? What,
yeah,
people coming out and saying, it's a lot of it's a lie or a lot of it's, misinformation, that kind of thing. But then
Yeah.
you look at India right now and you're like, thank God that's not us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've been following the news of what's going on in India.
Honestly, I will fully admit I have gone and kind of shut myself out of a few different things because it's weighing on my mental health,
It
and
is like,
that's affecting me huge.
for sure. But if anybody, I mean, is following COVID and wants to see what happened, so we've been keeping our eye on India because back in February, I believe, the government there, I don't know whether they have a prime minister, a president, what the hell it's considered. I think it's the president, but the government basically said, you know what, everybody's been pretty much vaccinated here. Like, they're way ahead of us in the U.S. for vaccination. They're like, we're opening up. Everything's back to normal. Go to work. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Concerts are, everything's open. There's nothing now there, whatever. And the health officials went to the government and said, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is going to be an issue. So over the last week, they have an average daily, I think, of like close to or just over 300,000 positive cases a day.
Right.
And they've got so many dead people. I think their average right now is sitting mid 2000s, like 2,400, 2,500 people dying a day of COVID. And it's to the point now where, like, because they're burning the bodies and they can't keep up with burning them. But the place, what do you call the thing you burn? I just had it in my head.
Crematorium.
Crematoriums are actually melting.
Wow.
They're getting so hot from burning all the bodies. Like, they can't keep up with it, and
Right.
it's burning everything. So you look at that and you see those pictures and whatnot, and they're running out of oxygen there.
Mhm.
Like, they don't have oxygen. So like people that would just normally need some oxygen to help them breathe
Yeah.
are now dying.
Right.
And they're begging the world for oxygen. So you look at that and you're like, okay, well, fuck, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, again, I don't want to get too deep into the craziness of it all, but
Yeah. The tinfoil hat on side of things, like there's a lot of interesting things going on. As you said, like there's so many different, like just with the regulations itself, right? Like if I go to the bank, I went to the bank there the other week to go and deposit some money. And when I showed up to the bank, they went and they stopped me right there at the door, made sure I was wearing my mask, which I was, right? Because I'm kind like that. I'll throw the mask on. Like, I don't really believe in it, but you know what? I'm gonna be that person that puts it on just for everybody's sake. And so I had my mask on, and then they stopped me at the door. I had to stand behind the plexiglass while they questioned me and asked me everything there was to know about my history and if it was possible that I might have COVID, right? So they did all the screening questions, passed it with flying colors, and then they sent me over to the other person who has a mask on and is behind plexiglass as well. And then I was then allowed to start doing my transaction. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And they're like, what's interesting? And I'm like, well, the fact that you've gone and you've questioned me on all this, you have plexiglass, you have the mask, you have all this stuff here. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, by all means, I think you should be able to have this stuff, keep yourselves protected. But I then go and have my job where I'm driving taxi.
Mhm.
And what happens with me is people open up the door, jump on in, and I'm like, you gonna put a mask on? Oh, yeah, I'll put a mask on. And then they start hunting for it as they're already in my cab. And then the next question I have to ask is, where do you want to go? There is no screening process. There is nothing. And then I have so many different, fares throughout the day. Like I could easily have 30 different people in my car a day.
Right.
And then I have to go and, some of the places I'm like, well, where would you like to go? Oh, can you take me to the hospital? Sure, I'll take you to the hospital. What entrance would you like? Oh, can you take me to this specific entrance over there? Oh, you mean the COVID testing center? Yeah. Thanks for jumping in my cab. Appreciate you. Appreciate your patronage.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? But it shows you that some of the jobs are just overlooked.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you're not, some of the frontline jobs are the ones that are considered to be needed are not seen as vital or as important, or that, whatever. Like, I don't know, like maybe they're talk about the fact that the poor places are getting overseen for vaccines, and
Yeah.
there's certain people that are being kind of left out of the mix and not being
Yeah.
kept as safe. You know, there might be something to that, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't know, but it just doesn't seem right to me. Like to me, you driving cab, being the fact that you are in a small car with somebody
Yeah.
that could potentially have COVID, or you could have COVID yourself. Like,
Yeah.
why are these taxi companies not being forced to put safety things in if they want to continue running, like the plexiglass between the front and back?
Yeah.
Like, keep you completely separated from your fare
Yeah.
to keep you safe and to keep the people that are in your cab safe.
Well, and I
I don't
imagine
know.
that there'd be a lot of different issues with it, depending on actual vehicle safety itself, having the right stuff installed and shit like that, you know.
But
Um,
everywhere else had to do it,
yeah, yeah,
and they had to
absolutely.
figure it out, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you know, you go to any grocery store, any box store, they all are plexiglassed up. I mean, they had to figure it out,
yeah,
right? Are we allowing the cab companies to not do it? Why? Because we feel they can't afford it, because, you know, I don't know, but why is that being overlooked? Why are cab drivers not being taken care of?
yeah.
But they're considered essential, like get out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, because that's the thing. The cab drivers are essential because there's people that do need to take cabs to get to different places, and like I've got lots of people that they need the cab. They really do, right? Um, and it's weird, what's considered essential, what's not essential, and then it goes back to like you have some of these stores like right now, like I was just over at Shoppers earlier this week and it said max capacity 66. I have never seen 66 people in Shoppers in my entire life.
No,
Never. And that's with the
no,
staff, you
no. Even
know.
on like a good sale on like old folks day,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's only 20 old people in there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have that, but they're like, oh, it's all much, it's locked down way more than it normally is. But is it really? Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just so much confusion going on with everything that has to go along with COVID. Lots of misinformation. There definitely is fear mongering happening and shit like this. You know, and
But again, they keep pumping that fear, right?
they
Like
do.
you heard of now the new mutant COVID or bug, like where it's
Yeah,
like I don't even understand it. Like it's connected 3 times. I'm
yeah.
not a scientist. I'm
Well,
not a
get
person,
get
but
get this, okay? So put the tinfoil hat on. Get ready for this one. All
okay.
right. So here it is. We're getting ready to go and start pumping out the vaccine, right? Getting ready to pump it out.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden there's a big uprising going, fuck you. I'm not taking no fucking vaccine and shit like this. All of a sudden, we've just found out that there's a new mutant strain of COVID that's just entered Canada, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then they're like, oh, fuck. Okay, I guess I will take the vaccine, right? And then people start having the vaccine.
Yeah, but you
Then,
look at the other side. Like if you
yeah,
take that tinfoil hat off, and as we do, listen to both sides, because the other
yeah,
side is saying that the vaccine, it's been in the news that the vaccines that they're using now are not working against the new strains.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
you can be vaccinated, but if you get one of the new strains or that mutant one, it's not going to work
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah. Or then even the health side effects of the different vaccines and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time that there's a scare on the vaccine, they amp up the scare of how bad COVID is. So you need to get a vaccine to combat the COVID. But then it comes out, oh, but look, you have the vaccines, they're causing this. Oh God, then I'm not going to get it. Oh, but then COVID just suddenly got worse. And then wait, the vaccines are worse than everything is getting worse by the fucking second, you know? And they keep playing each other off of each other. And
For
like
sure, but
our good buddy Jay said, hey, if you haven't watched the movie Wag the Dog, now's a great time to go watch it.
for sure, but I mean, like, I don't like again, like it's like one of those things where, yeah, in the back of your head,
Yeah.
you're like, they're overstating things, they're over, exaggerating. They're, you know, trying to force everybody into a pocket. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, even government wise, like I think they need this to end,
Yes, absolutely.
right? I mean, eventually you don't want your economy to crash to the point where it's not going to take generations and generations for it to come back.
No.
Like, you know, I don't believe that, you know, everybody talks about Trudeau slipping up and talking about the Great Reset, right? Like this
Yes.
is a perfect opportunity for the Great Reset. Now, although I might not agree, I would have to hear what his idea of a Great Reset is, and I'm sure there's a lot I wouldn't agree with.
Yeah.
I think there are things that we should learn from this, that we have, because this is not the first time this has happened, and this is not the first warning we've had.
No.
But like, we need to really start fucking thinking to the future of, you know, this is a 0.003 whatever percent chance of that you'll die if you get it. What happens when a virus comes that it's 5%, 10%,
Yeah.
right? And like, think about this one and what it's done to the world. What is that going to do to the world and what it's going to look like? And how are we going to prepare? Because we're not prepared.
No.
I mean, if you've learned anything, forget about hindsight and what we could have done better, what
Oh,
we did right, what we didn't do right. What can we do to prepare?
I can tell you one thing that we can do right now to prepare for the future. Stop being so fucking woke, because that was a major, major fucking problem with all the shit going on. Because as soon as the fucking virus was announced saying, holy shit, fucking it's coming out, there was immediately calls, fucking close the borders, shut the borders down, nobody in, nobody out, fucking away you go, right? But then you got the great and ever powerful Trudeau there, who ended up going and saying, no, 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 we can't close the border. We can't stop people from coming in because that's just xenophobic. You fucking idiot. It's not xenophobic at all. It's called taking care of the health of your people. This could have been all done and solved. Like fucking Australia did it. Not a fucking problem. They shut their borders, said, fuck you, not coming in. Real simple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If Trudeau had gone and actually shut the borders right from the start, you know, and you don't want to bring the Canadians home, by all means, Canadians, you got 2 weeks to get home. And the only people that are arriving into Canada are people that have Canadian passports. Those people put into isolation right away for 3 weeks, government paid spa, you know, type thing.
That's right.
You know, and they go and they take, you know, their shit there, and we go and we find out, okay, is anybody feeling sick? What's going on? What's happening? And we sort out the virus right then and there. That's it. Everything would have been fine. We would have been having everything opened up except the borders, and we would have been good to go. We would have been good to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few like there's a few other things that scared me like through this that, but another thing when you're looking at, you know, the rest of the world and how we connect to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Like I'm type 2 diabetic,
Yes.
right? So one of the big things that I saw, which I mean, surprised the hell out of me because an ignorant Canadian, I think that's part of the problem. We grew up in North America, right? Like whether American or Canadian. And as bad as you can have it in our country, we have it pretty good. Like we live in like this kind of fake utopia that I'm not sure actually exists. Like I know it can disappear very, very quickly, right?
Yeah.
So you don't think like anything's ever going to happen to you or, you know, anything's going to be bad. Like we're protected here. We are taken care of. Nothing's going to happen. But the one thing I'll tell you that scared the hell out of me when you talk about our relationships with other countries and whatnot, which I understand you have to survive in a world this small now, you have to have relationships.
Yes.
But there's certain things we do that scares me. And I'll tell you, having diabetes, what happened to me was I went from getting about 4 months worth of prescription drugs for my diabetes to keep it under control to suddenly they were saying we have to ration it and you're only going to get 4 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Because we don't get our diabetic medication from Canada. We get it from outsourced like India, China, places like that, which same with, by the way, our like pills for high blood pressure, all these different things.
Yeah.
That's scary, dude. Like what happens when the shit really hits the fan and suddenly we can't get these life-saving medications at all? And how long is it going to take for Canada to ramp up to start making them? Because I'll tell you how long, because look how long it took for us to start making gloves and masks.
Absolutely.
And we're talking about medical
Absolutely.
prescriptive drugs,
Yeah.
not hand
Well,
sanitizer for crying out
and
loud.
that's
And
some of the
what
stuff
what
we need to,
happens when we can't get that here?
yeah.
We can't ramp up for 6 months. How many people have died?
Yeah.
Are we not making those prescription drugs here? Like that creates jobs.
Yes, exactly. We should be
It's an
having
essential thing.
we should be having all that stuff. We should be so much self-reliant. But the problem is you have people that want to go and say, no, 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 we're going to keep outsourcing. No, we're going to allow these other companies to come in to Canada. Okay. You know what? I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and I know a lot of people might have a big hate on for the Middle East, in particular, like say Saudi Arabia. But I'll tell you one thing that Saudi Arabia does that's really, really well done. If you and I start up a business over here in Canada, and we're like, you know what, Saudi Arabia would be a great market to have this in. Saudis go, no problem. You can come over, but guess what? It falls under this flag. It falls under this, and you are just a section of this major company, this major Saudi company. So what is going on in Saudi? Like your business, our business that we make together, we decide to do it in Saudi. We might own it over here. We don't own it over there,
Right.
right? It is theirs. So they get to choose what they want to do with it, how they want to do with it, and stuff like that. Whereas over here right now, we have other companies coming in from all over the world going, yep, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Oh, cool. We'll give you some tax breaks. No. Congratulations. You want on our soil? No problem. You can put your name on the sign, but guess what? That's now ours.
Well, and I
You
think
know?
a lot of it too is what are you outsourcing? Like I don't have an issue with outsourcing and trade because like I say, let's
Yes.
understand we would not be able to survive in a world like this without trade and
No,
without
absolutely.
outsourcing. But there's a difference between trading things that are non-essential,
Yeah.
that aren't life-saving, like fucking masks,
Yep.
where apparently we're 90% were made on an island.
Yep.
Like people don't know this, right? Like we just assume like this stuff is never going to end and never go away. Like that line of that, that stuff that comes over here. I mean, I want to know how many people actually understand that this before this pandemic, that this life-saving stuff does not exist here,
Yeah.
right? That's the stuff I'm talking about. Like anything life-saving, we need to start producing here, at least to a percentage enough
Yeah.
where if the shit hits the fan, we can turn it up really quick.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Absolutely.
if we made 25% of the diabetic medication here in Canada and outsource the other 75, but with the understanding that if shit hit the fan, within a week we could have it 100%
Yep.
and ready to fucking go.
Yep. And
Not
if the borders are closed, for either coming in or coming out, not a problem. We still have shit handled right here
that,
by
yeah,
ourselves.
anything we need to survive is here,
Yes.
right? Anything survival. Now, who cares if you can't get the latest iPhone?
Yeah.
That's not essential to survival. It doesn't matter if you can't get the brand new pair of Nike shoes
Yeah.
or like certain grains and plants that we bring in from other countries.
Yeah.
They're really nice to have, right? Like I love to be able to buy oranges at the grocery store
Yeah.
when they're in, but it's not essential to my survival,
No.
right? I don't care if Canada can't produce its own oranges.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
No.
that was one of the big things for me. Anyways, I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, like, what are we doing? What
No.
if a big war breaks out with these countries and they're no longer sending us our shit that we need to survive?
Exactly.
How many people are going
Exactly.
to die before we get it up and running?
Well, to just look at half the different businesses that the Liberal government went and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to have these people start making this. These people start making this," and they went and they handed over a shit ton of money to have people start making it, and buildings weren't even built yet to do it. Matter of fact, the company didn't actually exist to start building this stuff. But
Yeah.
here's a bunch of money to do that.
Well, that's what I
Where'd
mean.
that money go?
Medication would take probably years
Absolutely.
to get out
Absolutely.
rolling out, right?
Oh.
Anyways,
You know what? There's so much stuff that's going on. There's so much misinformation, and like as we mentioned at the beginning there, like you got the thing going on with your family there with being told about a million different things from the different health professionals and stuff like this, and they're doing what they can, right? And as I said, as you said, we're not knocking them. They're doing the absolute best that they can, and
Yeah.
and thank God for them. But
because I'm sure it's changing day to day to them too.
absolutely,
Right.
because like I know my wife, she works at the one hospital, and she's being told every other day, oh, there's a new procedure,
Mm.
and stuff like this, and it's like, okay, cool, but there's so much stuff going on, so much misinformation, um and then there's so much hate about it, because I personally don't care. I myself am not going to get the vaccine. I'm not, like,
Even
it's,
if they say you needed to travel.
oh, I'm traveling either way, but that's another story in itself. Okay, but I have absolutely zero intention of getting the vaccine. But if somebody else wants to get the vaccine, I'm not going to be like, well, okay, well, you fucking suck, like you're
No,
stupid
it's
for
an
getting it.
individual
No,
thing.
I don't care. Don't be knocking me for not getting it, and I won't knock you for getting it. You
Mhm.
know, because like there's information out there on all different sides and shit like this, and you know what? People want to wear masks. People don't want to wear masks. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Okay. Just stop the hate going on in between everybody.
Yeah.
There's no need.
Yeah, stop
You know?
that. Stop fighting about shit you can't control in the way of
No.
like the thing is it's a new virus. Nobody really knew what the hell was going on. Hindsight is great when you have
Yes.
it, but when you don't have hindsight and you're right there at the time,
Yeah.
make the best decisions you can make, and that's all you can do.
Absolutely.
My thing is what do we do everything around a pandemic? So the next one that hits us, everything around the actual sickness is taken care of.
Yes.
We're ready for it that way.
Yeah.
Might take you a year or 2 years to figure out how to treat it exactly or how to like get rid of it, but
Yeah.
at least people are being taken care of it as that is happening.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We might have to remove some politicians from office there to get things going, but hey, what's got to happen, got to happen. But
Yeah.
no, as we said, there's been a lot of interesting things going on with this, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misinformation on all sides about absolutely everything. Okay. But we just wanted to bring up some of the stuff that Nate's gone and actually dealt with just recently, which really makes no sense. Some of the stuff that I've had to deal with that makes absolutely no sense. Let us know down below.
Really quickly, sorry, I just want to let everybody know that everybody in my family's good, healthy. Nobody's had any symptoms. So thank God, knock on wood. I'm just happy that we're all healthy.
Yeah, he's going to invite me over later so I can lick his face. But anyways, yeah, do us a favor, hit the subscribe and bell icon. Check us out down or on all our other feeds and stuff like this. Hopefully we can get away from doing this Zoom type of podcast because this is not my type of thing. I don't like doing it. Not fun at all. But anyways, y'all have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later.
Later.